The final battleground between America's native people and the invading adversaries took place in the land of the American West. On the high plains, the Indians made their last stand as a free people. The history of their struggle against complete physical and cultural domination is a series of tragic events that represents the wider saga of nearly all Native Americans. From the Seminoles in the southeast to the Inuit of the far north. In the mid-1800s, settlers had begun to swarm into the western Indian territories, and the U.S. Army trained special troops whose sole purpose was to terrorize the remaining free Indian population into submission and to force the surrender of their lands.
Damn any man who sympathizes with Indians. I have come to kill Indians, and believe it is right and honorable to use any means under God's heaven to kill them. Colonel John Shivington.
They finally withdrew about 5 o'clock. As they retired down the creek, they killed all the wounded they could find. Many who had lost their wives, husbands, and children or friends went back down the creek and crept over the battleground, over the naked and mutilated bodies of the dead. Few were found alive. The soldiers had done their work thoroughly. George Bent, Southern Cheyenne.
They knew that warriors who would not surrender in battle would have no choice but to lay down their weapons when they saw their wives, grandmothers, and children sick and dying. They had their solution. The government would encourage buffalo hunters to slaughter literally tens of millions of buffalo in order to starve the tribes onto the reservations.
The buffalo hunters have done more to settle the vexed Indian question than the entire regular army. Let them kill, skin, and sell until the buffalo is exterminated, as it is the only way to bring lasting peace and allow civilization to advance. General Philip Sheridan.
You know, our ceremonies, our songs, and our prayers is about life. It's about how sacred things are, and trying to live a beautiful, sacred way of life.
For although our people were weary and trapped, the spirit of the Indians still burned within the smoldering embers of our destroyed camps and broken hearts.
In our American Indian communities, our children are surrounded by wonderful resources. Right in your own home, sometimes, there are people who know a great deal about our very own tribes, about our land, the language, about traditions that are so important to learn about, ways of living that have brought our people thousands of years. I guess when I talk to my nieces and nephews and my grandchildren, I say, be daring, turn the TV off, take a couple of days break from the cable TV, and listen to your elders.
We do have to live in today's world. We do have to learn the way that things work in today's world. But I don't think that we need to take the attitude of out with the old and in with the new. I think that we need to hold on to the old and we need to learn the new. And I think that's important for our people. And my advice to anybody would be to do that, to hold on to the good things, to the old things that our people have taught, that have passed down for generations, and that the Creator has taught to our people.
Sinbu, he said over 100 years ago, he said, take the good and leave the bad, which he would say to the people that no, you learn to go to school and get educated. We need to balance ourselves today through education, either going to school or through our traditional way of life. What we say is that the mind, the body, the spirit can bring the wholeness, and that's what we believe in. That's why the language is important to learn.
I've lived in two worlds, so to speak. The traditional Co-Indian way, I dance, sing, and go to ceremonials and all those things. And at the same time, I live like a modern American, gone through several colleges, had good jobs, but I can mix the two, blend it too, get the best from each and enjoy life that way. And if I were to give advice to these young growing Co-Indian boys and girls, I would tell them, never forget the old tribal ways. Use them. Use the good ones. And also, of course, go to school, get a good education, and be able to compete in the white man's world in finding jobs and following a profession. You can blend the two, enjoy a good bicultural way. And that can be done. That would be my advice to these young kids. And they're doing it now.
What is paramount is attaining an education as we from the educational system, from wherever we live. In my case, here in Saskatchewan, the educational system is all in the English language. So a person can make a living. They teach how to make a living. But to know how to live is what I'm talking about, learning our traditional background as First Nations people. There we learn how to live. But to make a living, we need that education because times have changed now. And that is important.
Tatsavitur vareinian Vargo divasya dimai Dio yona prachodayat Om Aburbhuvaswa Tatsavitur vareinian Vargo divasya dimai Dio yona prachodayat Om Aburbhuvaswa tatsavitur varenian Bargo divasya dimai Dio yona prachodayat Om Shanti Shanti